Welcome to Chiaroscuro Tarot, the art of living life. This pick a card reading is going to be about how did I grow this year. As we're closing out 2020 and moving into 2021, it's kind of fun to review the year and see how you've grown and how you've evolved and how you've become a better person or more aligned with yourself. Kind of what you've learned to kind of give yourself a pat on the back. Hey, I did this and I learned and I grew as a person. You've got 4 decks to choose from. Deck number 1 is the Revelations deck. Deck number 2 is the Original Rider-Waite. Deck number 3 is the Golden Thread. Looks like that. And deck number 4 is the Fountain Tarot. There will be a still frame picture in the timestamps down below, so if you want to skip ahead to that, you can pause there and go with what deck you are intuitively drawn to. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new to the channel, welcome. A couple of things to go over. This is a general reading, so some of the energy may not resonate with you, so just take the message that does resonate, because that will be the message for you, and leave what doesn't resonate. I've also got a video that I made about this from last year, and so if these piles aren't really resonating with you, you may want to check that one out, because though it was about last year, these are kind of timeless. If you feel really drawn to a particular option in a reading, then that will be the one for you. So I'm going to tag that in the description, just in case you want to check that one out too, because it could still be applicable if you feel intuitively drawn to it. In addition, if other people's energy shows up in the reading, keep in mind the energies could be vice versa. So I could be saying you're doing this and somebody else is doing this, and those energies could actually be flip-flopped. So take that as how that resonates. And it is kind of timeless, but kind of not, because it is about how you've grown in 2020. But if you are drawn to this at any other time, then this could still be an applicable message for you and how you are currently growing. I think that's about it. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. I'm trying to build up the channel, and I do really appreciate the support. So please make sure to do that if you do like the reading. And I'm going to move on to deck number 1. If you chose deck number 1, this is going to be the reading for you on how have you grown this year. I'm kind of excited about this reading. I get to basically brag about you, the ways that you've grown and developed. So I'm excited to see what comes up. Interesting. So you have really, really grown this year. You kind of were, maybe this is how the year started out for you, but you were kind of closed off, detached. We have the High Priestess reversed, not really engaging with other people on a deep level, or just kind of shutting yourself off, being kind of cold, not really receptive to anything. This could even be not listening to yourself, your own inner guidance system. Maybe you listened to what other people said too much instead of trusting your own judgment. This led to a kind of feeling of drowning in a way. We have the 6 of Swords reversed. Also potentially, gosh, I'm trying to think of the words. Like, your past baggage was also preventing you from engaging just in life or with yourself or with other people. It was encouraging this kind of detachment. This came from a place of fear. We have the moon reversed for the for the past card. Uncertainty. This could also indicate your own psychic abilities, dreams. Like perhaps there was a fear of your own abilities that you were detaching from, because maybe they made you feel like you were drowning, like they scared you, you didn't understand. Maybe in your past you were taught that this kind of thing was like not okay, and so you detached from it. Perhaps you were afraid that the past would repeat itself, so you disconnected from people. But put you in a position where nothing really had any deeper meaning to it, and you just kind of were existing in life, and you just weren't moving forward. However, this year, this is completely shifted, because I see you kind of being like fed up. You kind of got like a little bit angry, a little bit fed up about how this was going. And uninspired, you know? You weren't inspired in your life, and you're kind of like, why does it feel so stagnant? Why do I feel so humdrum? Like, why do I feel so bored and just not passionate about anything? And you kind of realized that your instinctive behavior toward keeping your distance, keeping the walls up, keeping kind of not really engaging is really the big thing I'm getting with this card. Not really truly connecting and engaging in life, in relationships and situations. You realize that you actually wanted something else, and though it was pretty ingrained in you, a pretty unconscious thing, you consciously decided you wanted a different way of being. And in a way, you started opening yourself up. We have the Six of Pentacles here. This is opening up to receive from other people the gifts that they have to offer. This is also opening up to be able to give to others in a kind and a generous way. I think you also started to appreciate the things that you do have in life. So instead of like wallowing in past baggage, you started appreciating what you do currently have, instead of fearing how that the past could be repeating itself. You started giving in a way you hadn't before in order to create a different life for yourself. You could have gotten involved in some volunteering. It's almost like you had to get kind of outside of yourself. You chose, I'm not going to isolate, I'm not going to disconnect, I'm not going to put myself in this energy anymore, just because it feels safer. I'm going to get out there, and I'm going to allow people to give what they have to give to me, and I'm going to give to them what I have to give. This actually created something very new for you. There was some kind of new opportunity that definitely involved giving. So whether this is a job, maybe this again is a volunteering kind of position. Maybe you went back to school to give to yourself. Maybe you gave to somebody else who was younger, or I don't want to say less evolved necessarily, but just kind of more youthful than you, younger. You helped guide them. You may have become a mentor. Maybe not even knowing it. Like you don't have to necessarily consciously choose to be a mentor to help somebody out. This entire shift that you've decided to make, the people in your life can see it happening, and that in itself could be guiding to others. Just you existing and doing your thing is helping others as well. So instead of being in this kind of like hold up energy, by getting out there and being yourself, you are in effect giving to others. There's an element of learning something new here. So whatever this situation is something new to you that perhaps maybe you were avoiding, but you've decided you want to build it. It could be a relationship. Maybe there's a new relationship that came into play this year, and you decided, instead of kind of avoiding it because you fear repeating the past, you've decided to learn to give to it in order to try to build something new, to learn about somebody else, to learn a different level of existence. This is very much about manifesting too. I feel like over here you weren't manifesting anything, but here all of a sudden you've realized how to manifest for yourself. And you've taken baby steps, little baby steps in terms of how to manifest money, stability, wealth. Wealth it's not just money. Wealth to some people can be love, connections, relationships. It can be creativity. It can be whatever wealth is to you, where you just have an abundance of this exciting stuff. You've just started learning how to create that. This all comes from you deciding that you are capable of handling the world. So there's this fear here that may have disempowered you in the past, where you were afraid because you felt like you couldn't handle whatever the situations were. So in order to prevent yourself from encountering situations that you were afraid you couldn't handle, you kind of detached, you isolated, or shut yourself down, put up the walls, weren't engaging with other people or other things. And now you realize, look, I got this. I don't want to be in that empty kind of position anymore. I want a different life for myself. And those things that I initially feared, I've actually come to realize that I survived them. I did more than survive. I learned. And I'm stronger now, and I can handle it. And I don't actually have anything to be afraid of, because if I trust my own ability to discern and to choose and to analyze a situation for what it is, then I'm fine, because I do know I can do it. All of those things I went through before were happening to teach me, so that now I know, and I can handle it, and I can do it, and I can juggle this stuff. I can have multiple things going on. I can have a relationship and a job and a home life and friends. I can manage it all. I can do it all. I don't have to be so isolated. I can manage my own internal state, my emotions and my mind and my body. I can balance them all. I can choose the right thing for myself and stay in my center by listening to myself, which is creating opportunity for me. You're basically, this year, you're learning how to listen to yourself, what is right for you. You've got confidence in yourself and your ability to decide, and you're starting to kind of manifest and develop what you want. And instead of living a life you don't want, you're now actively choosing to create the life that you want. And it's helping others in a way, and others are helping you, and things are just kind of working out. There's a lot of gratitude and a lot of appreciation that you've moved into this year, even for yourself, that you didn't have before. You don't feel like you're drowning anymore. And even if things happen, you don't have the same reaction to it. You're like, you know what? I got this. I can do this. And I can make an opportunity out of this situation. Instead of seeing where things are going wrong and where they're bad, you're seeing where the opportunity is now. That's huge. Ooh, this is so exciting. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. All right, I want to see if we can get a couple of clarifiers. Oh, yes. Look at this. You are focusing on creating what is fulfilling to you. You may have been disconnected from your emotions and now you are connecting to them. Instead of, you're not trying to control it anymore, you're trying to work with it. You're trying to work with all aspects of who you are. Instead of denying a certain part of yourself, you're integrating it, which is creating your, this could even be you've created a sense of wholeness for yourself. You are now complete by just, you've done it for yourself, not because of other things, but because you chose to do so. I think you're also learning that the way forward for you may be a little bit unconventional. You see that perhaps tradition or the ways like maybe your parents have taught you how to do things, or whatever the established order is, whether it's society, culture, family, traditions, that, you know, or even just the way that you, the limitations you've placed on yourself. You're starting to see that I don't actually operate in this normal framework. This traditional way of being is not for me. I've got to kind of make my own path. I have to take the path less traveled and figure out what works for me. Because you weren't able to actually manifest the more kind of traditional, what you had considered the traditional life, the life you should be living, because it wasn't actually right for you. So maybe the relationships, the jobs, the friendships, the, you know, whatever you were engaging in, you were previously doing it not in a position of what's right for me. You were doing it because what should I be doing? And now you're like, no, I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit here. And maybe I want some unconventional things. Maybe I don't actually fit into this traditional narrative that I have for myself. Because I've been trying to manifest that and it hasn't been working. And now you've learned this year that by doing what is fulfilling to you, by putting the effort in the place that warms your heart, you are actually manifesting. You're starting to, like crazy. And that's just even reinforcing your ability to trust yourself. You're not actually listening to the guidance of others. You're just listening to your own guidance. We've got a lot of cards here that are saying that you're listening to your own guidance, which is huge. Congratulations. Yes. You're learning. You're learning to manifest. That's what you've learned this year. You're letting go of a way of being that no longer was working for you. You are rebalancing yourself, integrating the aspects of yourself maybe you previously denied. You are becoming whole. You are learning to manifest. You are giving and receiving to others. You are engaging where you weren't before. And you're doing it from a place that's authentic to you because you've learned that whatever traditional way of being you've been taught you should be isn't who you are. It isn't what you want. It isn't what works for you. And now you have the strength. You're gaining that strength to stand up for what you want, for your truth. And as soon as you do that, you are manifesting. You are manifesting what you want because you're choosing your truth instead of what somebody else has told you to do. Wow. What a year. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I want to get an oracle card for you. We're going to do the wisdom of the oracle. Forgot to grab these. deep knowing, 43. The deep knowing, that understanding in you of where to go. You don't need other people to tell you what's right for you anymore. You know. You've connected to that intuitive, deep part of yourself. And you're allowing yourself to guide you. And it's working. Now, we do have this page here. So you may have only seen little manifestations. You are at the beginning of understanding how to do this. So you probably haven't seen the full effect of this quite yet, because this is new to you still. You're learning, just like the Page of Pentacles is the learner card. But you are learning to hear yourself and operate according to what's right for you and not what other people tell you. As a result, you're starting to engage in life a lot more and go with what is fulfilling to you, what warms your heart, what feels good, not on a level of like self-indulgence, but like that intuitive feeling that this thing's with me, it's what's right for me. And I don't have to necessarily know logically why it is, I just know, and I'm going to go with that feeling. That is wonderful. It's also connection. This is a deeper connection with yourself, a deeper connection with source, God, spirit, whatever you would want to call that, with the energetic vibration of the universe. You're knowing that connection is there. You're feeling it. You're tapping into that a lot more, and as a result, you are actually able to actively create the life you want instead of hiding from the life you don't. Kudos to you. Good job. What a wonderful thing to learn. This is a great reading. I hope you liked it. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if the reading resonated. And I'm going to move on to deck number 2. If you chose pile number 2, this is going to be the reading for you on how you have grown this year. How have you evolved? How have you developed? Interesting here. You've kind of learned this year about how you self-sabotage. The ways in which you create what you don't want in your life and how to stop doing that. I think that there's a situation here that happened this year. It may still be ongoing. You know, that it was basically it had the potential for something, but it manifested into what you didn't want. We have this past energy here, the 9 of Cups, the things you don't want. That's where your focus was. You were focused on what you didn't want, and that's how you self-sabotage. So it's kind of like, you know, something new comes along, and instead of appreciating it for what it is, you focus on what you don't like about it. There's a little bit of negativity here, and you've recognized that you sabotage opportunities for yourself by focusing on the negative. This comes from a place where you are afraid of opening up. You've learned this about yourself. You're afraid of being vulnerable and afraid of the instability that could cause. Like, what if somebody hurts me? What if somebody, doesn't accept me? And so I'm just going to kind of, in the past, you may have been like, I'm just going to kind of keep it to myself. You know, I'm not going to go for what I want. And instead I'm just going to focus on all the things I don't like about this situation, and I'm going to sabotage it. So this year you've recognized your own ability to self-sabotage, and you've started to rectify this. I do see there was a potential love connection here. This can also represent your connection with yourself. But either you rejected this connection, or somebody rejected you, or you felt like somebody rejected you. So you could have felt very connected to another person, and yet they rejected you, or you felt very connected and you rejected them because you were too focused on the negative. This could also, in terms of representing the connection with yourself, maybe you have rejected your own alignment with yourself, who you are. In the past, you weren't choosing yourself, choosing to line up with how you really felt about yourself or something else. And you've really learned that this year, that, by rejecting my own alignment and how I'm feeling about something, I'm actually sabotaging my ability to create what I want in my life. Wow, that's really deep. There may be a little bit of protectiveness here. Maybe you were trying to protect yourself from what you didn't want happening again. But that focus on that negative kind of created a situation in which you didn't get what you wanted. But it's interesting. It's almost like okay, for a few of you that are watching this may resonate. There may have been a love connection that you had with somebody, and you rejected it. You felt it, you feared it, you focused on the negative, and you rejected it. So it hasn't turned into love necessarily, but you have, perhaps that relationship is still in your life and it's somebody that you're friends with. And you've kind of found your ability. It's almost better that it stayed friends, because you are able to view now the ways that you self-sabotage in a relationship that is less charged than like if you were romantically involved with somebody. If you're just friends, it allows you, things don't hurt as much, like it allows you to see where you're sabotaging yourself in a easier, safer way that gives you the clarity that you need to understand yourself better. So for some of you, I think that that's a situation that's going on. For others of you, I think you recognized that you may be spending too much time in your head. That's part of it. And kind of having fun, like lightening up a little bit, because there's a lot of serious energy here. You've really been looking at heavy things, and you're kind of like, I gotta lighten up this year. I need to lighten up because I don't want to be in this negative energy. I don't want to sabotage myself, but I gotta stop. I have to figure out a way to stop those anxiety thoughts from kicking in, from focusing on the negative and sabotaging myself. So you may have made new friends. You may, this could just be lighthearted fun, celebrating, kind of figuring out a way to get out and be around people that care about you and have some just lighthearted fun, so that it distracts you from your brain's natural tendency to go toward the negative and start picking things apart and why this isn't going to work. This strategy has actually been very empowering to you. And it's been giving you clear vision in a way. You're able to see clearly, like, this didn't happen because I wasn't ready for it. I'm ready now. Now I'm in a place where I see clearly. I see how it really wasn't that other person's fault that things fell apart, that I created that with my own, you're taking responsibility for your own shit. And it's you're finding it very empowering, that higher understanding. I mean, the King of Wands is a visionary, you know, the vision and the way that he sees things is a lot clearer and a lot deeper, a more spiritual understanding here. So you kind of, like, this year may have started off like either rejecting somebody, or somebody rejected you, or you rejected yourself, and as a result, this was tied into your ability to self-sabotage by focusing on the negative and refusing to open up and be vulnerable in order to protect yourself from the negative that you don't want to happen, and you inadvertently recreated by your own behavior. And so you realize that you got away from it. You had some fun. You're like, okay, I got to get out of my head. And it's helping you see how you have done this. I'm going to get a couple of clarifiers. This is really big, I'm going to tell you, because if you can recognize the way that you self-sabotage something, own it, understand it, and like transform as a result of that, that's huge. We do have a pair here. We have the King and the Queen of Wands. So this could definitely be relationship based. Oh yeah. You definitely are realizing the ways in which you are overprotective and of yourself, and you are working on that. I think perhaps maybe you were a little harsh on somebody. Maybe this poor King of Wands got the dark side of the Queen of Wands because you were trying to protect yourself. And you realize now that when you try to protect yourself, you aren't actually in alignment with yourself. And so you've been working on this. You've been learning and taking the steps to get yourself in alignment with yourself. Because whatever opportunity you said no to, it hasn't gone away. It's still available for you to take, but it's only available for you to take when you have done the work on yourself, and you know this. I think that this isn't something new to you. You are aware, I got to get myself right. And that's what you're doing. You're working. You can't go forward. You know this. You can't go forward until you work on yourself. On the ways that perhaps maybe you're a little bit controlling of other people because it gives you a sense of stability. Maybe you're cold towards others. Maybe you struggle to open up. You struggle to connect. We got the Star reversed and the Empress reversed. And you're working on your ability to connect to others so that you can flip this card upright and come from a place of compassion, of love, of, positivity. And then you can go after what you want. But until that more negative, controlling perspective is addressed, you know that you can't move forward until you do the internal work. So this may continue into next year, because I'm not seeing it necessarily completely finished yet, but you are aware that you need to do it. Because you want this. And you've realized, I've been wanting it, but I haven't really been in the position to be in it, if that makes sense. Like, I haven't been right I want that, but I haven't been that. So I can't have that until I'm that first. So you're taking charge of yourself and your ability to wrangle your demons, to adjust your behavior, to remove the toxic behaviors or the codependent behaviors you may have had in the past, so that you can actually be a full, authentic version of yourself, and then you can get the connection that you're looking for. And you've got support to do it. There's people that are supporting you, that are encouraging you in this. So then once you actually rectify this self-sabotaging behavior, I think you actually get what you want. So that's fantastic. That's a lot of learning. This is a really big journey, and it's really important. You're owning your own shit, and that is so magical. It's so empowering to do so. Let's get an oracle card for you. We have number 6. Not for you. Reversed. Actually, I'm not sure I remember the reversed inclinations in this one. Okay. The way out of obsessing is radical acceptance and surrender. Stop banging your head against the wall. Stop trying to force something into being that isn't working. That's an additional layer to this. I don't think the right thing can come to you until you get yourself right, which we've already been talking about. But in a way, this is kind of like the things that aren't right for you, will just let them go. Maybe part of the self-sabotage tendency is to hold on to things that make you unhappy, that you are unhappy with. And that's part of what's created the trauma or the damage that's causing you to kind of hole up and not connect to other people so much, because in a way, you have continued to engage with things that aren't right for you and that don't feel good, trying to make them feel good, trying to make them feel better, instead of letting them go and making the space for something new to come back in. Ooh, I really like that. Well, this concludes the reading for pile number 2. If you like the reading, please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. And I'm going to move on to pile number 3. If you chose pile number 3, this is going to be the reading for you on how have you grown this year. How have you evolved? What have you learned? How have you become a better, more aligned version of yourself? All right, so this this has been a big year for you. You have learned not only to let go of the pain you've experienced in the past, but you've also learned how to no longer engage in situations that are disempowering. You no longer are putting your energy toward things that aren't working for you. You know, if there's no forward momentum, if there's no recognition of you, if it's just not right, you're not engaging in it anymore. Because I see kind of maybe at the beginning of the year you being in a very imbalanced place, struggling, purposeless, hopeless, you know, just really out of whack. And it was because you were engaging in a lot of things that you didn't really want. Like, instead of the universe kind of handing you nice opportunities, you kept reaching for opportunities you didn't want and engaging in them. And then it would throw you out of whack, and you may have even been blaming other things for your own disharmony. But you've recognized this year to let go of the pain. We have the Three of Wands. You're no longer engaging in situations that aren't moving forward, and you aren't engaging in situations that are disempowering. The Six of Wands reversed. It's like before, you kept trying to engage in disempowering situations, trying to make them empowering. Maybe I can fix it, and then I'll be empowered. But you're kind of like, nah, I want something else now. And perhaps you were doing that because of past hurts. Like, if you can fix the issue in this current relationship or this current situation, it can fix the past hurts that I've had. But you're kind of realizing it's not about fixing it, it's about releasing. I have to let these swords leave the heart so that the heart can heal. They have to be released first. And then the storm clears. You've actually really been working on making your life a lot less stressful, a lot simpler. And where you kind of had no purpose before, now you have purpose. You've kind of, by not engaging in things that have been disempowering, you're starting to see what you want in life. What is the long-term goal? Is it a family? Is it a career? What do you want to do for a long term, put your energy towards? What do you want to build for yourself? And you are starting now to build that because all of your energy hasn't been diverted by investing it in things that aren't moving forward. You've actually gotten pretty good at avoiding tower situations now. Whereas before you may have grabbed onto that tower and tried to rebuild it as it's falling down. Now you are avoiding them completely by focusing on what you want. Like you have the ability, you've gained a confidence in what you want. You're not letting other people's stuff override you anymore because you value what you want, where you want to put your effort, what you want to do. It's your life. You want to live your life for you and not for other people. Woo. I like that. Here's an example of how you avoided the tower. Somebody you felt a connection with, we have the Lovers, you didn't commit to. You didn't engage, instead you broke free. They weren't committed. You may have had a connection, but they weren't committed. And instead of you engaging in it and trying to get them to commit, you just didn't. You let it go. Instead of trying to make them be who you wanted them to be, you didn't. You're like, nah, I'm not getting trapped in this again. Because you saw that what you want is worth fighting for. Your value and what you want, what you want has value. And you stopped putting your effort into situations that aren't going anywhere. Like where you were engaging in situations that you knew weren't maybe you didn't necessarily know they weren't going anywhere, but you thought maybe by engaging you could fix it and it would go somewhere. Now you're like, oh no, I'm not going to fix anything because I want what I want, and what I want is going to come to me. So I don't need to fix anything, because by not engaging in things that aren't going anywhere, I'm opening up space for what I want to come to me. So I can have that long-term journey. I can have that career, the inspiring visionary career that I want. I can have the fiery, passionate love that I want. And it can be the right person coming my way, because I'm not engaging in a situation that isn't going to commit to me. I'm not going to try to force something to commit to me that isn't ready to. I'm just going to move on from it. I'm not going to be bound. I'm not going to be tied down into this. Even if I feel a connection. The connection, it's like you're not blinded by connections anymore. You can acknowledge it, but you're also not like living in a la-la land, like, oh, well, we're soulmates and that means we're going to be together forever. There's a lot of different types of soulmates and a lot of different connections. You know, maybe you connected to this person so that they could teach you. They could show you that you wouldn't engage in something dysfunctional, that wouldn't move forward, so that you could actually have the space for what you wanted. It's like the final, I hate to use this word, it's like the final test of the universe. How much do you want what you want? How much do you want it? We're going to throw this connection at you, and it isn't going to be right. And we're going to see, are you going to go with the connection, or are you going to realize that it isn't what you want and stand up for what you want? And you did. You stood up for what you wanted. So my guess is that in 2021, whatever connection, job, opportunity, whatever it is you're looking to build long term, you're going to achieve, because you stood up for what you wanted. You stopped engaging in things that weren't going to go anywhere in an effort to try to make them go somewhere, which was ultimately very disempowering, which then made you question your judgment. And you're just learning to let all of this go. You're like, okay, I made some bad decisions in the past, but I have all of this knowledge now. Now I know what I want because I did that. And though there may have been a situation that seemed like it was perfect, that felt deeply that it was perfect, you were able to realize that it wasn't and break free of it, so that you can choose, you avoided the tower, you didn't engage. You said no. And now, as a result, because you're no longer putting your effort into things that aren't going to go anywhere, what you want is in a fast pace coming to you. You stood up for yourself. No, what I want has value, and this isn't what I want. No, you're not going to pressure me into this. Kudos to you. Ooh, that is so empowering. And great, good, looks good for 2021, or for next year. No place like home. Reversed. There are times when what is familiar and known is not the best choice. What feels familiar, what you recognize, what you feel connected to, it's not the best choice. Human beings are memory-driven creatures, and we all look for certainty for what we know, even if the qualities we seek in other people and in external conditions are expressed in unhealthy ways. Avoid being too eager to find home. Yes, you did it. You resisted. Oh yes, It felt like home, but something wasn't right, and you resisted it. It felt like home because it's something you know, something from your past, an experience that you're trying to heal from. You're recognizing those patterns, those toxic patterns. Your own judgment is guiding you correctly now toward what you want, what is long-term, what is stable, and it's coming because you've been making the right decisions. So good job. You might be doubting yourself a little bit in the decisions you've made. No, 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 no. You have been making the right decisions. Maybe for the first time ever, and it's feeling very good and very empowering, and you're going to get what you want because you value yourself and what you want enough to not engage in something just because it feels good. You're seeing the bigger picture. You're seeing other things going on, and you're able to recognize that if I put all of my energy into this, into something that isn't going to go anywhere, then I'm not going anywhere either. I love it. I love it. I hope you enjoyed the reading. This concludes the reading for pile number 3. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Helps me know as a reader I'm doing a good job, and it supports the channel. And I'm going to move on to deck number 4. If you chose deck number 4 for your reading, this is going to be the reading for you on how you have grown this year. How have you evolved? How have you become a better person? How have you become more aligned with yourself? For pile number 4. Very interesting. You are a very purpose-driven person. I think you've kind of tapped into your purpose. I think you want to lead, you want to guide, you want to. There's something about leadership here and helping people. We have judgment, your purpose. You've you know, that call, the call that sings to your soul, and the Hierophant. The leading, the guiding, the establishing tradition. You know, maybe what you want to do needs some kind of program that you were working on creating. But at the beginning, at least at the beginning of the year, you were ready to go. You have these ideas. You're kind of opening up the box of what you can create. What can I do with my ideas, with my purpose, with where I want to go? Interestingly, though, this year, though you had all of this like desire to do this stuff, it seems like none of it happened. This seems incredibly frustrating to you. No forward motion, nothing growing from your investments, just kind of stagnation, stall, nothing's developing. You may be putting work towards something and nothing comes of it. This was the year for you to heal. So though you were ready to go, you weren't actually ready to go, if that makes sense. And so you may be beating yourself up. Nothing's developed. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm feeling very frustrated. Like, this is my life path. Why isn't it manifesting? It's not manifesting right now because in order for you to manifest it, there are things within you that you have to heal. And I think this year by this point, I hope that you've recognized this, that this is about healing. It's about rest. It's about gaining a higher perspective through healing yourself. Because I'm seeing we got rest and we got exhaustion. You know, maybe the passion petered out because you need to take care of yourself. You got to slow it down. There's something that you have to heal within yourself first before you can actually take your path. We have the Queen of Swords reversed. There is a coldness, a cutthroatness, maybe a lack of compassion, a lack of patience This could even be maybe a lack of understanding of your own emotional nature. There's something that you need a higher understanding of within yourself before you can move forward on your path. So, though you may have discovered your path, this year has not been about moving into it, because there's internal work you need to do to be ready to be on that path. You know, she should be upright. Where she's communicating the truth. It's almost like there's a truth you want to get out there. Maybe you want to write, maybe you want to vlog, maybe you want to do, you know, whatever. You want to get something out there to people. But the way that you have been has not been in the right vibe in order to achieve that. So this year has been about healing for you. Taking the time yourself to even maybe meditate. Maybe there's higher understanding that is needed here. Because there's something that you are missing. And this is supposed to be the time where you find that, where you slow it down and you figure out what you are missing so that you can blast off forward. I want to get a little bit of clarification for this. Let's see. What are you missing? What are you gaining this year? I'm seeing a lot of exhaustion. This could even just be spiritually. I got to admit, maybe you've gone through quite a lot in your life, and in order for you to progress forward, you really have to release those energies because they're exhausting you. There's like a spiritual exhaustion here. That once you recognize this, then you move forward. And so I think that's why you're taking this time this year to work on yourself. So unfortunately, what you want, where your purpose is, you feel like it's not progressing, but it actually is. Because in order for you to actually get out there and get the message out, you've got to be in the right place. So you're taking the time to get yourself right. There's definitely some spiritual exhaustion going on. Just exhaustion. And this year you're supposed to kind of have a little bit more fun. Lighten up a little bit. Not everything has to be about your purpose. Not everything has to be so serious, you know. Lighten up a little bit. Learn to enjoy things. Let's put these over here. Yeah, so this is about being patient, because what you want to achieve isn't, this year, it isn't happening. You know this. We're about done with the year. You know it hasn't happened. And so this is because you have to learn to take care of yourself. This is the patience. This is the compassion and the care that you will be needing to give to others, that you have to learn how to give to yourself first before you can build anything long term. This really comes from, you know, finding an emotional connection with yourself, with the universe. It's about understanding emotional vibration. And I think you've got kind of an incomplete knowledge of that right now. Or at least you're recognizing that you don't know the full picture. Because if you really did, you wouldn't feel so exhausted, and you wouldn't be responding to things, you wouldn't be feeling so spiritually exhausted if you actually had a higher understanding of what's going on. So you're seeking that higher understanding so that you can be in the right position. Let's get some advice. Or another thing about how you've grown. This is interesting because you've grown not really outwardly in your life, but you've grown very much in the inside. You haven't really seen a physical manifestation of it yet. but you have grown and really recognized you're seeking something higher. You know, this is probably the most spiritual of the piles that I have read. For some of you, I think you found it. For others of you, I think you're still searching. So there's going to be some of you that this kind of, I hate to say period of stagnancy because you're not actually stagnant, but it feels like a period of stagnancy. So for some of you, this period of stagnancy is going to continue until you do take the rest and rejuvenate yourself enough that then you can take the time to get the answers that you're looking for. For others of you, you have taken that time this year, and now the answers are starting to come in. Thinker. Oh, you're thinking about everything, aren't you? Excuse me, I'm still kind of learning these cards, so sometimes I need to grab the book. Strategy, being analytical and logical. Focus, strategize. Follow a logical path. You have all the information you need. Keep it simple and you will win the game of life you are playing right now. So it's less about you seeking information you don't have. What you don't realize is that the information is within you. That's what this is. You already have the information. You just have to get yourself right so that that information can come out. And that's what this year has been about getting you ready, getting you into the position to connect with yourself and source and take it forward. You may also need a logical plan. Maybe there's a practical logical plan you need, or a focus. Maybe you're too spread out all over the place and you haven't focused enough on what you want to create. I wouldn't worry about it too much at this point because you really are in this energy of needing to heal yourself. You know this logically. In order for you to achieve what you want, you gotta be in the right vibration, and you know you're not. So you've been you're working to get yourself where you need to be in order to achieve your life's purpose. That's really cool. So you aren't stagnant. You aren't not moving forward. It feels like you're not, because you aren't seeing any physical manifestations yet. But once you get yourself in that right vibration, everything is going to happen. So, for the time being, take care of yourself. Chill out. Maybe make a plan for when it does pop. What are you going to do when things actually start to pick up? Write it out. Make a plan. It's not happening now. That's okay. You got it for when things do get crazy, because they're going to. You're going to go with your life purpose once you line up with yourself. It's just going to go boom. So make the plan now. What happens when it goes boom? What are you going to do? What systems do you want in place? What's the strategy? What's the plan of attack? You can always amend it. It doesn't have to stay that way, but at least you have something to work with. There's a lot that you can do that's productive while you're having this downtime that doesn't involve the actual creation of something. You're not trying to force something into being that isn't ready to be born yet, but you're making plans for it. It's like if you're pregnant with a baby, you can't force it out of you in 4 months, but you start planning. You get a crib, you decorate a room, or you start, make a registry and have a baby shower so people can give you some stuff so that you've got bottles and diapers and things like that. You start making a plan. Doesn't make the baby less viable. It's still going to come when it's ready, when the time is right. But now you're ready for it. I think that that's a lot about what this year is about. So don't dismiss it. You've been doing good. You've been doing the right stuff. You're going to get there. This is part of the purpose and the journey. This concludes the reading for pile number 4. I hope you like the reading. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. It helps support the channel. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.